What's up, everybody? Kafka here, and happy Thanksgiving. I hope Diablo 4 is giving us something to be thankful for in Season 7. We shall find out. So today is Thursday, and it is Thanksgiving, so we're going to spend some time with the family. So no stream tonight, but I want to give you guys some content to go over for the PTR that is next Tuesday at launches. And if you have a PC, you could go ahead and play the PTR, which I will be streaming next Tuesday. But this Saturday is the PvP tournament. So if you haven't signed up, make sure you do that because it's gonna be a lot of fun. Every season we do have a lot of fun on the season PvP tournament. So let's check out and see what Diablo did with the PTR Season 7 patch. All right, so first off, we got some new runes. So there's ritual runes and only one invocation rune. So the ritual runes are the ones that gain offering. So maintain a summon for at least 6 seconds and gain an offering. This could be pretty good for Sorc and Druid. They're able, and Necro, because they're able to maintain summons. So it might be an easy way to get some offering. We have the IGNI rune, and this is gain 25 offering. So stores offering every 0.3 seconds, cast a non-basic skill to gain stored offering up to 500. So stored offering is a new thing. You're going to see it on some of the runes that they made some changes to. And then we have the CHAC rune. This is a rare rune, and it does 220% weapon damage, costs 20 offering. Invoke Druid's lightning bolt strike by a nearby enemy, and the overflow is spawn more. So there is some balance updates to the Spiritborn. We're not going to go through all that because we're looking for game updates, hopefully some game updates that are really cool, and then our Sorcerer updates. So they made some updates for the bartering caches. So the salvage material caches can now drop iron chunks. Oh, you know we love the iron chunks. Another way to get iron chunks. So it scales with the torment tier, so you should actually get a lot more now. Same with the boss summoning cache. You actually get more torment tiers based on more materials based on the higher torment you're in. Same with the masterworking, get more obdicite. You get more augmented cache, you get guaranteed runes, and more gems, it sounds like. So it scales, everything scales with what torment you're in. So you're going to want to make sure when you're doing your caches, you're in world tier 4 to maximize the actual rewards that you get from doing these caches. Okay, so the rewards have been adjusted to be in line with more other events. So increase the amount of pale marks. So it looks like overall the mercenary caches, you're going to get way better rewards now. So it might be something to get, you know, some gear, some boss mats, masterworking mats, and maybe in the salvage material mat. So good update there to get more materials. We like that. So it looks like they did buff some of the runes. So the Vex rune is a bit different now. So it's only going to be 150 offering. Man, they messed with this thing a lot. It was 800, then went to 1,000, and the duration was longer. But now it's +1 skills for 10 seconds, and then you could overflow it more ranks up to 3. So increase the cooldown from 1 to 5 seconds to avoid overflow bonuses. So you should be able to get 3 up consistently. I think that's the idea with the Vex rune. So the Zan rune looks like it's going to cost a little bit less, 700. You're going to be able to overflow it and get damage, 1% damage per 10 offering. So overflowing, some of the new offering on the runes will say it's an overflow. Once it gives you an overflow of amount of excess offering that you stored, basically you're going to be able to get some bonuses on the runes. Oh, it looks like the Jaw rune got a good buff too. And I read somewhere earlier that the Unstoppable wasn't working. I thought it was working because I used this with Tobolt's Will and it felt like it was working. Maybe it wasn't. So it's 250 now and it stores excess offering, which is good. Then it looks like they just kind of buffed all of the Spiritborn, the Druid, the individual, the Barbarian, all those runes that do abilities from other classes got a little bit of buffs too. All right, so in the Undercity, it looks like they fixed the issue with the Tribute of Ascendance and Refinement did not grant the rewards. I thought they fixed that already in a patch. They told us they did. So apparently that still had to be fixed. So the Tribute of Radiance did not grant legendary items in certain scenarios, which they said they fixed earlier, so I'm surprised that was in there. So here it is. The teleport from Ja Rune did not grant Unstoppable. So that looks like it got fixed. And the Quax Rune could be increased to 200% instead of 100%. So it's back to 100%, I guess. All right, so let's talk about the Sorcerer a little bit. So we got some unique focuses. We seen them earlier, but if you haven't seen it yet, here it is. So this is the Strike of the Storm Horn, and this has an inherent where it replaces chance to summon additional ball lightning with affix to summon a super ball lightning. It gives ranks to ball lightning movement speed, critical strike damage, and chance to cast additional ball lightnings. So what I feel like this is going to be like the charge bolts aspect, where once in a while you're going to get this huge ball lightning that's going to cast and move towards your enemies. So what it does is ball lightning splashes on contact for 100x damage, increase damage and stunning enemies for 1 second if it reaches the range. Super ball lightning are larger, deal 100% increased damage, and have a higher lucky hit chance, and its stun duration is 3 seconds. So if you cast a lot of them, that might be powerful. We'll see. This is the one I'm actually looking at a little bit more. The Catalyst, it is the inherent. You could cast ball lightning while moving. Let's do that with Incinerate so we could cast it while moving. I think that would be awesome. We should definitely do that. Make that a change. We should talk about it so they do it. I wish they would just make a focus for Incinerate instead of 2 focuses for ball lightning and do that, or a focus for ice shards or something like that. So this one I feel like is going to be pretty powerful. Damage reduction while you have active ball lightning. Attack speed for 5 seconds after casting a defensive skill ranks to ball lightning and chance to cast additional ball lightning. But then it says ball lightning orbits, creating a static field around you for 140-180% damage per active ball lightning, granting unhindered while the field is active. So that is really strong. So I think that is a really, really good unique. I think ball lightning will be a great build, and I always like the ball lightning build because it's fast. It could clear maps really quick too. So dungeons, and it could do hordes fast. It could do Undercity fast. So I do like the build. So it would definitely be something I'm going to try out the PTR. So then we got one aspect, and I'm not really excited about this. This says the aspect of Mind Awakening. It's a utility aspect. So basically, everything you're doing, you get a little benefit from. So when you cast a Pyromancy skill, you get a Immobilize. You Shock skill, you get movement speed. A Frost skill gets you a barrier. And while enlightened, each skill grants all benefits. So I don't know. I wish they would have did something else besides this. This utility aspect doesn't seem great. The only spot you put a utility aspect is really the pants. So I don't know if that's going to even need to be used at all. So we shall see. Looks like chance for Ice Blades to cast twice has been removed from Tempering Recipe, and chance for Infernal to do double damage has been removed from here as well. There's probably another one that does this. Instead, we get ranks to Shocking Impact, which I think there is a buff to Shocking Impact, so we're going to be able to check that out in a little bit. All right, so then we're into the Sorcerer. So this is developer note. All Sorcerers eventually use Burning and Conjuration builds. So what they mean is you're using Devouring Blaze and you're using Conjure Mastery, and they don't want this to be the case. The focus behind all these changes is try to fix the outlying issue. There's more open build options. As always, we continue to monitor this effect it has on the Sorcerer's power level. So we shall see if it actually kills the Sorc, or it helps the Sorc, or it makes it more, gives us more options, I guess. We'll see. So Enhanced Ball Lightning, this is the second node, is now your attack speed is increased by 5 seconds for 3 seconds each time you cast Ball Lightning. So you basically get an extra 20% attack speed. It doesn't increase your attack speed bonus. So basically you're getting 20% attack speed on Enhanced Ball Lightning now. That's it. And then this makes it a lot less confusing. The Wizard's Ball Lightning just grants 2 crackling energies. And then Mage's Ball Lightning gives you 30% damage against stunned enemies, which I think is a good change. And then we got a lot of changes to the ultimates. So the ultimates actually go to rank 5, and at rank 5, you're getting a bonus. So Deep Freeze bonus is damage is increased by 40% of your vulnerable damage bonus. And when Deep Freeze ends, changed, you gain 50% of your maximum life as a barrier for 8 seconds. So you get a little damage bump from deep freeze, and it doesn't say cold damage either. So this could be used in all the builds to do 40% of your vulnerable damage bonus. So that is actually pretty good. So let's get out a calculator. And if we have 1,000, I don't even need a calculator for this. So we have 1,000. If we have 1,000 damage to vulnerable, and we times that by 0.40, we get 400x damage. So that is actually a really big damage buff. And you get this barrier. I don't understand this at all, really, because I get it. It's going to do that at rank 5. But is it always, or only when you cast it? I guess it's always. That's a huge damage bonus. 40% of your vulnerable damage bonus. And it doesn't even say you have to attack vulnerable. So this is like a vulnerable damage build if you're using deep freeze. Stack as much, and there's no cap. That's interesting. Stack as much vulnerable damage bonus. Okay, we'll try it. Let's read some other ones. All right, so with enemies within Infernal are vulnerable. That's what you get at rank 5. But now, while Inferno is active, which you can make it active pretty much all the time, skills deal 50% increased damage and cost no mana. That is a huge difference. This is a big difference. This right here is way better than this. So I don't get it. That is, am I reading this wrong? Comment down below if you're reading this differently than I am. This is Wowhead too. I don't know why I couldn't find it on actually Blizzard's website for the patch notes, but we'll have to check that out in the PTR because that looks like really OP. That looks really strong. You don't even need to press deep freeze. And it doesn't say anything about only having one. Can we have all of them at rank 5? That's a good question. All right, well, let's see. All right, so then we got Unstable Currents. So Unstable Currents stun surrounding enemies at rank 5 for 3 seconds. So when you click it. Also, the following skill trees upgrades which directly dealt damage now scale up with their damage increase ranks of this base skill. So Enhanced Spark, Fireball. So Fireball and Enhanced Familiar and Enhanced Fireball get buffed from Unstable Currents. Oh, no, that's something totally different. I apologize. No, Unstable Currents, its own thing. Casting. So this says, guys, casting Unstable Currents stuns enemies at rank 5 for 3 seconds. This says rank 5, deep freeze, and it doesn't say casting, is an increase of 40% of your vulnerable damage bonus. That's huge. We are going to test that absolutely right away on Tuesday. That is the #1 thing we're going to test that I've seen so far. And then again, looks like the following skill trees upgrades directly dealt damage will now scale up their damage with increased skills of rank of the base skills. So that means that if you have more fireball skills, this will get a bonus. If you have more familiar skill points, this will get a bonus. If you have, and then spark as well. So this is actually the only good one. Casting Fireball increases the radius and burns enemies for 10%. I don't know how that would increase, but we'll have to check that out too. This is one we're not too excited about. Fireball now dealing burning damage has a 10% chance to heal for 4% of your maximum life. That is not good. We don't like that. That's not very good, but that's okay. So now the Flame Shield enchantment. Taking 30% of your life within 2 seconds activates Flame Shield. Oh, it's not a lifesaver anymore. It's not a lifesaver anymore. And Devouring Blaze, I feel like this is a nerf. This is only good for fire skills now. Pyromancy skills deal an additional 10% increase critical strike damage. So you're not going to put this on your ball lightning build. You're not going to put this on your ice shard builds. You're not going to put this on your lightning spear builds at all. So Shocking Impact did get a buff though. Every time you stun an enemy or attempt to stun a boss, you deal X damage lightning to them. So this gets increased with Shocking Impact. So this is really good because you always attempt to stun a boss with lightning spear. So that actually could be a very good upgrade to enhance your damage with lightning. So we'll use Shocking Impact for sure with the ball lightning build. That's going to be really good. This says Inner Flames looks like it's working with everything now. So before we'd only put 1 point in Inner Flames and then go into Devouring Blaze. So it used to say your pyromancy skills deal 4% damage while you're healthy. Well, now it just says you now deal 4% increased damage while healthy. So it looks like this works with any build. So you could upgrade Inner Flames and get more damage. Same thing with Icy Touch. It was cold damage. You deal 4% increased damage. So now we have these Inner Flames and Icy Touch that work with any build, it looks like. And I guess that's a good thing. Give us more damage on any builds. That might balance the Devouring Blaze not working, so with Ball Lightning or something like that. So Conjure Mastery is really only for conjures now. That's the big change. We are not going to be using Conjure Mastery unless we're doing conjures. So let's read this. So previous gain stacking bonus for each conjure up to 30 stacks, 1% damage, 1% movement, 2% mana regeneration. Gain a stacking bonus for each active summon. Up to 10 summons, 2% damage. So you can get an extra, geez, that's if you get 10, 20, 10, it's not even that much damage. 10 summons, stacking up to 2. So that's a decent amount of damage that you get from it. 2% movement and 4% mana regeneration. So it's only for summons though. It says summons damage. Conjure Mastery is only for your summons damage, but you get 2%. So if you have 10 stacks of Conjure Mastery and 10 summons up, that's 200x damage for your summoning damage. That's a lot of math there, guys. Whew, we're struggling here. Lots of math. That's okay, though. Boom. There's the numbers. The numbers are out. But that's actually pretty good. This might be a good thing for Fractured Winterglass. So we'll see. So the power of Conjure Mastery and endgame limits all sorcerer builds, which can summon the most conjurers as possible. So that's what they're saying is we used to use that on every build. Get as much conjures, get as much damage. Well, they don't want you to have to do that, apparently. That's what it is. So here's some updates to some of the aspects that we have. So it looks like Lightning Spear got a little bit of a change. So Lightning Spear, this is the previous, cause an arc to form, dealing 50 to 90% of damage targets to the target and 5 enemies. This damage is increased by 100% of your critical strike damage, which is similar, but now criticals hits with Lightning Spear cause an arc to target 5 other enemies. This damage is increased by 100% of your critical strike damage. So I'm assuming we're losing 50 to 90% damage here. I'm assuming that's what they mean, but I'm not 100% sure on this. So we're gonna have to test that too on the PTR, see if Lightning Spear got a nerf. It looks like it might have, unfortunately, but some of these other buffs might have balanced that out a little bit. So some of these other buffs might help it out. So I tried this on one build early in the season, and it is tough to play. But it looks like they're up in the damage from 30 to 50, from 25 to 45. Still not sure if this is going to be something I'd use. I like that it does show on the power on the amulet and the two-handed weapon. That's kind of cool. This right here is gain 20% movement speed. This is doubled, but now it's tripled. Who cares? Not really a big deal. More mana from the Chain Lightning aspect. Don't really need mana usually. Maybe we do now. Who knows with some of the changes. All right, so let's read gravitational aspect. So previous ball lightning surrounds you and it does 30x damage. You may have 10 ball lightning. So let's see what it says now. After creating 7-2 ball lightnings, your next ball lightning implodes, pulling in enemies before dealing 90% weapon damage. So you're going to want to use this with the dagger. Damage scales with ball lightning. Huh. So you want ranks the ball lightning and then you want high weapon damage on this. So this is interesting. So we shall see. I kind of like it. All right, this is the aspect of the Armageddon. A hail of meteors fall during Inferno, dealing fire on impact. Your meteorites immobilize for 3 seconds. While Inferno is active, your meteorites do 300% increased damage. So Meteor got another buff. Meteor is actually going to be quite a bit stronger because you could have Inferno active pretty much. You could get it down to seconds that you'll maybe have a cooldown on your Inferno. So I think that this is actually not bad. And this is going to pair nicely with the buff to, or the change to Devouring Blaze. Not really a buff to Devouring Blaze because every other build doesn't use it. But this might be a build. So the two builds so far, what Kafka says, try out is Ball Lightning and Meteor with this aspect of the Armageddon and getting a very, very low cooldown. We'll actually try it because we could make it. We'll have the gear for it. So we'll able to try it for sure. All right. So we got some updates to the Paragon board. It looks like Searing Heat got an update. So before it said pyromancy skills have 12% increase critical strike damage. We know that. And then 20%. So you always get a 60x bonus. So now it's still 12% critical strike chance and deal 12% damage equal 10% of your critical strike damage. So I don't see why that would be an issue. Getting 60% on that, that's a weird change to me. I don't even know why they would do that. Same thing with this. This looks very similar. 20% of your damage fire bonus. So that's going to be easy to get 90% in the Burning Instinct. Not sure again why that's there. So it looks like they did change the Ceaseless Conduit. This might more in line with the Ball Lightning build. Let's see. While you have Crackling Energy charges, your skills deal 10% more damage. This is a buff. So any skill does 10% more damage. So that's actually not a bad node. This amount increases by 4% per 20 intelligence up to 60%. Oh, sweet. So you actually just get 60% damage with Ceaseless but now. When you reach full charge, crackling damage is increased by 3 times this amount until you run out of charges. So you actually get 180x damage. And before, it was no extra damage to your skills. So we do like this change. So let's look at Static Surge. Static Surge was basically getting vulnerable and gaining mana. Let's see what it does now. Now hitting enemies 8 times in a row of shock skills restores 30% of your maximum mana and increase your damage for 40% every 8 seconds. That's actually a really good change. We like that change. Very good. And they're already changing fundamental release. This was actually a node that I probably used in every build. Let's see if they kept it good or they changed it. So every time you apply vulnerable, burning, or critical strike to an enemy, they take 10% increased damage for up to 30. Sweet, because that's what we got before. Ultimate skills damage is increased by 10% of your non-physical up to 40%. So you could get 40% extra damage on your ultimates as well with this. So really good node. All these are really good nodes now. So these are buffs, guys. Sword cuts and buffs. What? We like it. So the Conjure Glyph is, the duration was 20%, is increased with 15x Conjuration critical strike chance. Don't know if we need that. The Conjure duration was really good. Don't know if we need that. We'll see. All right, so that's it for the Sorc. I like some of the things for Sorc. We did get some buffs. I think that there is some good things that are happening here. I was a little optimistic when we had the campfire chat. It felt like it was just slapping us around a little bit, but there is some definitely buffs here for the Sorc, and we are going to test them out on Tuesday. So make sure you check out the stream and like the video. If you guys like the video, please do it. Hit the like button. Want to share it out. Appreciate you guys. All right, so then we got some things, just random things we're going to talk about. Nightmare Dungeons. So new affixes were changing in the Nightmare Dungeons. Cold Totem, affected monsters, slow players, and vulnerable on hit. Demonic, affected monsters move and attack faster than the Spirit Totem. Affected monsters receive revive once when killed. Revived monsters do not grant loot or experience. Well, that's not fun. Monsters will only have this buff inside the area of the totems that can be destroyed by attacking them, but they do lose health. So they're making Nightmare Dungeons a little bit harder. Is this the end game? Oh, are they coming up with some new end game? Oh, Nightmare Dungeons, the new end game. Let's go. Oh, it's funny. Sorry. Just being a little sarcastic. And then showing all the new boss game dungeons, Vessel of Hatred dungeons. Not sure why it's showing all that. They did buff a lot of the instances. So you actually get 3%, 300 armor, core stats. Damn, that's a big one. 100 core stats. Increased all to 100 from 25. They probably just weren't doing anything. Now they actually feel like they do something. So that's a good change. All right, this is loot updates. We always care about the loot. What is the loot updates? All right, let's see. All right, so the general chance for ancestral items to drop has been increased, something we asked for. The general chance for elixir to drop has been reduced, so they probably took out the elixir drops and put them into ancestrals, probably. The minimum roll for legendary effects. So what this means is basically if you get an ancestral item, there's no really low roll on the actual stat. So let's just say Storm Swell could go up to 30%. The minimum roll might be 25% on that if it's an ancestral item. So you're going to get a decent chance. The acquisition rate of Infernal Compass has been adjusted. Chance to acquire one from Greater Helltide chest has been increased. Good. And then it's been decreased from the pit. I like Infernal Hordes. Keep them up, man. Let's get as much as we could. A new Whisper cache has been added. collection of keys. This will include 3 Infernal Compasses, 3 Nightmare Dungeons sigils. So basically, if you need some Nightmare sigils and Infernal Compasses, you could get this new Whisper cache called Collection of Keys. If you don't want those, then don't click that. Gem fragments have been reduced. So this is something that everyone was complaining about. So very good change. So when you get a higher GA item that is unique, you will get a better roll on that item for the affix. So it doesn't feel good to have an item with multiple greater affix with a poorly rolled power. This change will make it so a 4G item will always have a good roll on the unique. Hopefully it's like that with 3 and 2 as well, or maybe at least 3, but it says in 4. I played for like 250 hours on my character and I've seen like 2 or 3 4GA items, but I wish they were higher. So man, I wish they would have updated some uniques for the Sorc. Man, that stinks. No updates on the uniques. Maybe if we give them some good feedback, they'll do it. I don't know. The greater crafting Whisper cache has been adjusted. So it's now a normal cache, so it'll appear more often. It contains 4 times as many crafting materials than other caches would drop, which is good. No longer contains non-crafting items. There you go. So it looks like they reduced some of the things that will only work on certain classes. So like tempering recipes. So they did fix that. So it looks like you can't just go and put tempering recipes on different characters. So these are restricted only to Sorcs. You can only get that on Sorc. So they are tagging everything. I actually was testing this with the Conjure Mastery to see if the wolves give you extra ranks of Conjure Mastery. It doesn't. But now it's going to show everything because Conjure Mastery changed, so it doesn't matter. You're going to see how many summons you have up for consistency. So trying to make it more consistent across classes. All right, Infernal Hordes. Compasses have been updated. Compasses will now stack. Oh my gosh, that's a good change. Compasses will stack. The old compasses will just be broken, and you could generate a new compass with it. This is a good change. So gems, I'm just reading through the miscellaneous, see if there's any good changes for you guys. Gems can now be transmuted into random legendaries and unique jewelry. So that is actually a really good change. So you don't have to just stay at maxed gems for no reason, and then you can't pick them off the floor because that did not feel good. The Infernal Hordes chest of gold now gives you more gold. So also too, you don't have to complete your Sorcerer quest again. You basically, if you've completed before, you already have it completed. So if you're level 15, you're going to get your enchantments. But if you do it, you get a legendary loot tailored to that class. So it might make sense to still do it at level 15 when that quest does pop up, just to get some good gear at the beginning of the grind. Ooh, it doesn't look like you're gonna have a level of Whisper caches anymore. Fixed an issue where some Whisper caches rewards were based on the character opening them rather than the character who earned them. So it doesn't look like you're gonna put a level 1 character and open a bunch of Whisper caches. We'll have to test that and see if that's what it meant. Oh, Wild Bolt Aspect was not pulling as many enemies as intended, so a little buff to that. Oh, fixed an issue where the uniques and mythic items were more frequently attainable from the gambling guy. So it looks like our obols are getting a nerf. All right, let's see what fixes the Sorc got. Oh no, fixed an issue where casts of familiar were not always lightning base of spawned by unstable currents because it was always fire. Fixed an issue where the Sorcerer's familiar was not triggering the shocking impact passive. Man, they really ruined the familiars, the start of the familiar. Wow. Fixed issue where incinerate visuals would occasionally be incorrect size during flamethrower aspect. Maybe it's supposed to be bigger. I think it is supposed to be bigger on the split. And then a meteor fixed issue will occasionally stop recharging when changing zones with this. So this should recharge with the Starfall based on the cooldown reduction. So it looks like that is it for the changes for the PTR coming out next Tuesday. We could test some of these builds. We're going to be live doing that. I will say I do like some of the Sorc changes. They're trying to get away from having the same abilities in every tree at the end game, basically the same passives, things like that. So it did bring some new things to light. I still don't think that Sorc is going to be like one of the top classes for sure. There's no way. They did not give us enough love in terms of damage here, but that's what the PTR is for. So we can test some things and then move forward, hopefully with some good changes for season 7. I still think strongly with all the info about PoE, they have to bring it, man. They have to bring something in season 7. I know they're doing the malignant hearts and the vampiric powers, but there needs to be some kind of end game progression that's different. Well, I don't know if they're gonna be able to come up with it. We'll see, but you guys seen it here. Some of the updates for season 7. Make sure to like and subscribe. Watch Kafka. We're gonna be playing the PTR, and then on the 6th we are running into PoE. We're just going to be driving it home, baby. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.